I've set up a simple broadhead test here. We're going to be shooting into a 20-gallon plastic barrel. It's a thick wall barrel, a 1/4 inch thick. I'm trying to simulate shooting into a chest cavity. It's full of water. We're going to be testing the Rage Extreme 2.3 against the SWHACKER 2-inch cut and against the XECUTIONER 2.5-inch cut. We're going to be looking at entrance holes. We're going to see if any of these broadheads pass through this barrel. I'm shooting the Matthews Creed XS, 68 pounds, Carbon Express Reds, QAD, and this is only at 15 yards. I'm going to be really surprised if any of these broadheads pass through this pail. This bow is extremely well tuned. The field points and fixed blade broadheads are hitting the same hole. It's very accurate, got a lot of energy. A great test. Let's see what happens. We're starting out with the Rage 2.3 Extreme, and I'm going to shoot at the very top line. We're going to move quickly. We got the SWHACKER 2-inch cut. Now we're going to the XECUTIONER 2.5-inch cut. Let's go take a look. Extremely interesting what happened on this broadhead test. I'm sure glad I did this. It's pretty cool. The very top broadhead that we can see here, the very top, complete pass through. We've got the Rage Extreme. We see this top blade here broke off at the tip. This blade did not completely pass through, but it did go through this very thick wall plastic. Even though the blade broke on that Rage, I still say that was a successful test. This bottom, I say the bottom, the middle, is the 2-inch SWHACKER. We see that both of the blades on the SWHACKER are still intact. They did not bend. A great penetration at the very bottom. You can easily see that just the visual there that the XECUTIONER did extremely well on the penetration test. Let's look at the blades here. The blades are both intact. They're not bent. The blades on the SWHACKER are not bent, and the blades on the Rage are not bent, but just one is broke. Let's grab the tape measure and let's measure some entrance holes and exit holes and kind of see how they compare. Back in the shop here, we're going to do some measurements. Remember, the very first shot was the Rage, and this is the entrance hole. Let me mark this so you can see it. Got a cut on the duct tape from there to there. This is an extremely wide entrance hole. I am impressed with the entrance hole, the Rage, and we have that at exactly 2 inches on the entrance hole. The next one is the SWHACKER entrance hole is exactly 1 inch. Rage, SWHACK. This bottom one is the XECUTIONER. It looks like it's nearly identical to the Rage. We've got exactly another inch. Executioner, entrance hole. Let's turn this thing around here. Check out the exits. Remember that the top line is our rage. We've got an exit hole, which it did exit. Remember, the blade did break. That is 1.5 inch. This is the SWHACKER. SWHACKER exit is exactly 2 inches. SWHACKER. This bottom one is the Executioner. We've got exactly 2 inches. Executioner. Pretty good broadhead test there. Going back to the entry hole, the Rage had the widest entry cut at 2 inches, but it did not pass through all the way. The SWHACKER and Executioner were identical. On the exit holes, the SWHACKER and Executioner identical at 2 inches, where the Rage was a little smaller exit hole at 1.5 inches. Overall, the Executioner penetrated more. There's more of the air. I'm shooting the same bow, obviously, same everything. But what we're kind of comparing here, we're comparing kind of 3 all-star, all-pro quarterbacks. I mean, where it's Brett Favre, Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning, all these broadheads did well up against a really, really thick pail. The point I'm trying to make with this broadhead test is that it's a lot of fun. If this would have been a white-tailed deer or a big hog or a big bear, every one of these broadheads would have done the trick. You'd have had your animal. And this is a pretty extreme situation here, shooting into this real thick plastic barrel. But what we have to remember and what you have to keep in mind when shooting and getting ready for the hunt, your bow must be tuned, and it must be broadhead tuned. If you're having to adjust your sights to get your broadheads to hit where your field points is at, something is wrong. And a lot of times it's something really minor. You have to adjust your knocking point up or down. You have to adjust your rest in or out just a little bit. Your poundage may need to be cranked up just a half of a turn or vice versa. Find a really good archery pro shop that knows how to do this. Unfortunately, pro shops that know how to broadhead test and broadhead tune are few and far between. Their shops are not set up for it. Their shops are set up to paper tune, and they tell you that your field points are hitting right, so just go buy a package of Rage, a package of SWHACKERs or Executioners. Here's your mechanicals and go hunting. It doesn't work that way. You have to tune your bow. You have to be there, the one pulling back, holding, gripping, and shooting. Don't fall for the trap of letting a bow shop tune your bow. The guys that run these bow shops, they are professional shooters. They know how to tune it, know how to grip, and know how to hold a bow without torquing it. Have them stand there. You need to be the one that pulls the trigger. You need to be the one that sees how this thing adjusts. Like you're getting a new bow, sometimes you always hear, well, you need to get the new bow, you need to have it shot in like 100 shots, or you need to tune it, you have to shoot 100 times before you tune it. With these new bows and the way our string materials and everything is so advanced now, it's not to having to shoot a bow 100 times to get in tune. You need to shoot a bow to get yourself in tune with the equipment before you take it to the step of broadhead tuning. It's kind of like driving somebody else's vehicle. You're in your truck all day long, you step into your wife's car or your buddy's truck. It takes you a while to get used to how it brakes or how it handles. It's the same thing with a new bow. Get a good feel for it before you tune. And just because your field points are accurate doesn't mean your broadheads are going to be hitting where they aim. I can take a bow that is not tuned and by adjusting the sights make it accurate. You have to have your broadheads and your field points and everything has to be in line shooting. These are very, very fun broadhead tests to do. If you have any questions about broadhead testing or anything, first of all, go to your pro shop. If not, email me direct. I can send you a broadhead tuning guide. I'd be glad to send it to you free of charge. This is a lot of fun. Thanks for watching Closing the Distance. Have a great day.
You know, on today's show, Matt's talking a lot about broadheads and about a well-tuned bow. For years, I tried all kinds of different broadheads, and I would hear what people said about broadheads, and sometimes I would try them just because I heard people endorse them or talk about them. But the truth of the matter is, you really have to go out and just try them for yourself. You have to find the one that works for you. There's no substitute for really having a personal experience with the product. You know, it's also true in life that you hear a lot of people talk about God. Some people are really skeptical about God or skeptical about church. But you know, the truth of the matter is, you really have to try God for yourself. Don't just take somebody's word for it, really, whether good or bad. I would encourage you to just have a relationship with the Lord for yourself. Try that. Get into God's Word and see what God will do in your life. I promise you, if you try it for yourself, you will not be disappointed. If you'd like to know more about a personal relationship with God through His Son, Jesus Christ, just go to closingthedistance.com and click on the Moment of Truth tab.